Hello, welcome back to Subbuteo Tabletop Football, where we're again looking at these World Cup sets of Subbuteo. So just as a reminder, we've got the Mexico 86 set there, or certainly one version of it, and one version of the Italia 90 set. And what we're looking to do in this is just really put these pieces together, so restore the set as such. Now, starting with the Mexico 86 set, I did realise that I'd actually taken a scoreboard out of there. So I've brought that back out of my little storage, and we now have the scoreboard in there. So that's good for that. I've also checked out the goals. Although I'm missing one of the nets off these, I can certainly get a new one, a different one of them. I've got a spare net. The goals are actually intact, so that's good. So, but I'm not going to leave them up like that. What I'm going to do is, when I've got a new net for that one, I'm going to fold them up or dismantle them and put them back in. I think the goals go in this slot here, and I've been having a look online at how these are laid out in the box, or how they should be all set out. So I'm pretty confident that the goals go in that one and the pitch is meant to go in that one. I also need to tidy up some of these fences, count them out, wrap them up and make sure they're nice and neat as well. Now, if you remember last time, we were chatting about the missing Argentinian players, which in this set, they're in pretty good nick, to be honest. I've only got one of them that's missing, and it looks like there's quite a full complement of them anyway. I'm actually thinking, let's have a look at that. I mean, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So we've got 30. We've got a full squad of players there. So I'm thinking, should the referees be in here? It looks like there's 3 spaces there that we could get a referee in team in. A referee in. I'm not sure if referees came with this, but nonetheless, I might actually go for that, which means I've got a spare player elsewhere. Now, I did actually have a look through my bits and pieces, and I have got quite a lot of spare linos, which I could populate there, but these ones, for some reason, I mean, it can't be. They can't all not have flags, can they? I don't know. But none of them I've got, none of the linos I've got flags on them. And if I look at them close up, I mean, possibly that one had the flag snap off. I mean, maybe I've lost flag. I don't know why I've ended up with this many that don't have flags on them. But nonetheless, I mean, worst case scenario, we could populate our sort of refereeing team with some of these flagless linos. So I think we're going to have a look at replacements for the referee team as well. I'm also, as you've probably sort of guessed by now, quite keen on getting all the elements of these sets in the correct areas in the box. So I think the pitch actually goes in this one where I've got the goals at the minute. And that means we're going to have to fold up the original pitch and get it into a shape where it fits in there. But I'm going to do that by way of getting some plastic like zip bags as well, so we can compress them down, and then we can keep the pitch in there nice and neat, and it doesn't keep sort of flopping out all over the place and catching on the players and possibly damaging the box, etc. So once I've folded that up and got a bag that fits in there, the pitch is going to go right in that slot, and it will be the same for the Italia 90 set. So the pitch should go, I believe, in this slot here, but we do need to fold that up properly and get it compressed down in a nice clear bag. Right, now moving on to the Italia 90 Argentinian team. They were fairly depleted, so we had a lot of damages in there. Now, it just so, I think I mentioned in the last video, just by sheer coincidence more than anything else, I was having a look through eBay, and I found on there a set of these figures. The reference does escape me for a minute. I did ask about this on the Subbuteo Collectors group. But nonetheless, I found a set of them in the green inlay. They were quite cheap, so I think they were £6.50 with postage. I think the postage was only about £2.75 or something like that. So for basically a little shy of a tenner, I got a replacement set. Now they are over here. Now, I know some people might be saying, oh, it's a little bit sacrilege to just sort of butcher up an existing set to make this. I don't know. Is it really? But with this one, the reason it's so reasonably priced is there was no box to it. So it literally came like this. This is it. This is the whole set. And of course now, because these are the same figures, what we can do is populate them into there. In fact, I think all of these are much better. The box is a bit more knackered out, but so what we could do, we've got, I mean, like the ones that are leaning forward like that, we could almost get rid of them entirely and just completely replace the Argentinian team in this Italia 90 set. So there you go. We've even got a few subs in good condition. This guy, he was leaning forward a little bit from the original one. And I don't know about you, let's have a close look at these. So I really can't tell the difference between these lot. They all look very similar between the two World Cup sets and the little team box I bought. I mean, it's very difficult to tell them apart. In fact, let's do a real test of that. So I'm going to grab one figure from each, either set and from the team box. So there we have one figure from the Mexico 86 box, one from the Italia 90, and one from the team box. I mean, experts may be able to tell if there's some sort of difference here, but for my purposes, I mean, they're the same. So I'm already losing track of which is which. So they are interchangeable in my eyes. So something else I did notice about the Italian 90 set is that there's no goals in there, which is a bit odd. I know the goals in the images, I don't know if you can see that, but the goals in the images are like the solid one-piece, sort of quite traditional Subbuteo ones. But it's a bit hard to imagine how they would have fit into this box because there's no sort of hole for them as such. That they could fit in. So I'm thinking the goals that came with this must have been dismantleable. And it just so happens, as I was rooting around in my bits and pieces, I have some dismantleable goals. So I'm gonna put these in. I don't use these ones anyway, so I may as well put these into this set, and they can sit in there and become part of it. So a quick summary of where we're at with the Mexico 86 set. If I bring the players down to 12 per side, which, you know, gives you a couple of subs, I only actually need to replace one German who is headless. And that also leaves room for, I don't know, referee team and one other space for something. I don't know. I'm going to have a look at some of the boxes to see, you know, how this sets up. Seems a bit odd that you would have so many players, and these 4 slots here do seem to sort of be separated to some degree. So whether it's right or wrong, I am going to put referee team in there. The other thing I was going to talk about is kicking keepers. I remembered I took one of the kicking keepers out and I've used it in Subbuteo League. Nonetheless, the yellow one still is broken, so I need a replacement for him. And he sort of, obviously that yellow one matches that yellow one. And I think the kicking keeper that I took out, he was red, but I don't have a red keeper in here, so might have to look at changing the stick keeper if he's red or vice versa. Now, the other thing about these two sets is, what were these teams playing for? They were, of course, playing for the World Cup. Now, before anyone starts tapping in the comments, I know the Jules Rimet trophy was stolen 3 years before this cup final was played, this World Cup final was played. So I bought that off eBay just out of interest, really. But I did have a look around at getting the FIFA World Cup trophy instead, and obviously I need 2 of them. Now, I don't think either of these sets came with one of those trophies, but I have managed, and I know you can get Subbuteo versions, but I have managed to find some non-Subbuteo little miniature FIFA World Cup statuettes. They're 4 centimeters high, and I bought 2 of them because they were only $6.99 each. And what I'm going to do, even though they're not Subbuteo, I'm going to put one of them in each of these sets. The only other thing I wanted to talk about today was the team cards. Now, these are both World Cup sets, so I mean, really, I guess we've got to ask the question, you know, do we really need team name cards for, I don't know, Waterford? Do we? Halifax Town? Are they likely to be playing Brazil in the World Cup? No, for starters, you know, that's a town and not a country. So, I mean, the question is, I suppose if you're a bit of a purist, you'd want a whole set of them in there. And I know in the last video I did say that I was going to try and do that, but I've been thinking about that, and I'm more sort of leaning towards the side of just getting World Cup relatable ones, so the country ones, and then all these others. I mean, I'll certainly use these in Subbuteo League for something or other. You know, so we've actually got a Bristol Rovers there. So I don't actually have a Bristol Rovers one, so that would be useful. So I may take them out, and then the only ones that I'll put back in are intact international ones. Just a quick sort of additional on that, if you've ever watched any of my Subbuteo League games, or any of the sort of rubbish that I normally do, you'll know that I've often commented, although I've got an Aberdeen team, I can never find the Aberdeen name, the card name card, and I'm always short of Bristol Rovers ones. Now, to my mind, it must mean that although I've got about 3 sets of these cards knocking around, they're all a bit, you know, they've got some missing. So I must have this one missing, because, you know, I'm short of Bristol Rovers. I've never, this is literally the first time I've seen an Aberdeen name card. I didn't think it existed. I think I've even asked that question. So it'd be interesting to see if the teams that I'm usually missing, have I got them here and can I use them? And then out of my normal set of cards, I'll put the World Cup ones, the international ones, into these 2 sets. Bloody freezing in here today. So anyway, that's that for now. I'm going to crack on with trying to get a few bits and pieces to add in that we've talked about, and also tidy up a few of the things as well. I know it sounds like a little perhaps OCD thing, but I want to bunch the fences together, because I think part of the problem with these sets is you look at them and they're all piggledy all over the place. And if you start tidying them up, like just get the fences together, put them in the right compartments, it just makes you feel a lot sort of more positive about what you can do with them. So that's what I'm going to do with that. And then next time we do a video on this, it'll be an update with a few of the extra things that we've bought in. So I'll wait until we've got the little World Cups. I'll wait until we've got the footballs. If I can, I'll try and get some kicking keepers, but you know, that depends on whether I can source them. And there's another thing that I'm going to add into one of these sets as well, which doesn't come with it. It's nothing to do with Subbuteo. That's also winging its way to me. Anyway, until next time, up the gas.